Hey everybody, welcome to It Came From the Studio. I'm here with Nick, who you've seen playing with his awesome Living Cities army, his Orc army and all kinds of 40k stuff, and Age of Sigmar stuff. We're just having a discussion about Liberators and my Stormcast army. I kind of wanted to share. Standing here talking about Liberators, talking about my Stormcast army. You heard me waffle on about kind of wanting to sell a little while ago. And Nick and I were kind of talking about how Stormcast are being played. And I was kind of complaining that, like, I love this army. I like how I painted them, and there's like a visual disconnect to me between how they look and how they act, and like how do you fix Stormcast Eternals? Like, how do you make Stormcast Eternals behave in the game kind of the way they look? Because the problem I have with them is they're too not the way they look. Like, they're the mightiest heroes in all the realms. They have like head to foot armor. They're able to like turn back into lightning basically and come back to life when you kill them. But when you put them down on the table, they just feel like wrong. They don't feel right. Their bases take up too much space, which means they're kind of okay attacks don't reach out and touch enough things. You can't pile attacks a lot in one place. And then they have the same armor save and wound count as like a Chaos Warrior, who is on a smaller base, is visually less inspiring, and is just better than them for the most part in every way, generally speaking, unless you're getting into like Paladins and stuff like that. But even the Paladins only have like a 4+ save. And so we were just kind of talking about what you could do to fix it. And my thought was give them all an extra wound and give them all extra attack. And that kind of solves the basing problem where they're on giant bases right now and they're not able to like actually output damage the way that they should. And then also just give them all extra save. Take away all those rules that are like reroll ones for their shields. Take away all that stuff, because you can gain that stuff through, command points, and that gives you like the ability to kind of opt into doing it rather than having it be a fixed rule. Or even give them something like the Chaos Warrior rule where you take a lot of them and you get kind of a shield wall ability where, you can reroll your saves because there's like a whole bunch of guys. But something has to be done, and I don't think it's a new army book. I don't think it's new special rules or new battalions. I don't think that like fixes the inherent problem, where there's just this like disconnect between how they look, you know what I mean? Like how they visually look and how they act on the table. They're the size of ogres, but they don't hit like ogres. And there's a real problem with that. Being on a big spit, like a big base in Age of Sigmar, is nothing but a penalty. It's just it's bad. You can fit less guys on an objective. You get less attacks per inch on the table than anybody else. And that's it. So anyway, we were just chatting. I thought this would be good, like, it came from the studio, because it's pretty specific, but this is the kind of studio talk that happens behind the scenes. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. And yeah, tell me in the comments, what do you think? What's a good fix for Age of Sigmar when guys are on giant bases, but don't feel like they do enough for being as big as they are?
I think a good fix for that would actually, if you give them the Ogre Rule, where for every one Stormcast, it counts as 2 guys, because you have so many bodies and bases, it would actually be good. It would be very good if you could take 60 guys out, like, or 30 Liberators, stick them on a point, and count them 60 guys.
That almost would be a good rule just for Age of Sigmar in general, where like your base size dictates how many models you count as.
Mil counts as 2 guys. A lot of armies feel like that, with like Bundo and the guys counting as 10. That feels right.
They've already started to push that into the game in other places, and I think that might be like if you're on 25 to 32, you count as 1.
If you're on a big base, maybe 5.
Yeah, you count as 5, or like cavalry counts as 5 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like these guys maybe counting as 5, or even just because you don't want it to be wounds, because then like you have weird things where like heroes have too many wounds, and it kind of makes it feel wrong.
Yeah, like this counting as 5 models feels right to me. But
absolutely. Whereas the birds being 1, well, they're birds.
Yeah,
they're not radioing in for help. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because that was clearly a solution here. It was clearly acknowledged as being a problem in this army,
and it works great.
It works great for ogres, but it's something that the Stormcast just don't have. I think that's definitely something that they should think about for the next army book, and even just be a good rule for Age of Sigmar in general. Because then you don't have to worry about creating units that don't work model count wise. You know what I mean? And you don't have to worry about how scoring objective works for an army if that just became like a general rule in Age of Sigmar. So anyway, have a great day, guys, and we'll see you for another It Came From the Studio.